Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Real Financial Freedom Podcast.
With your hosts, Diana and Sam.
So today we're going to talk about a recap of 2021 and real estate in Toronto and how went so crazy and what we're going to expect in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2021 was an absolutely crazy year, just like 2020. And I think the whole world has just been waiting for a real estate crash. And everybody just expected that COVID was going to be the reason that, you know, real estate was just going to stop. But it actually did the opposite. And real estate went crazy, and there was a massive inventory shortage, lot of demand. So what happened? Like what?
The
How
question,
did this
I
happen?
think the question everybody's asking themselves is like, where is this money coming from?
Yeah.
Like, where do people get all this money to keep buying real estate? And I think it goes back to what we've been talking about in a lot of our other videos, is leveraging your current real estate equity in your real estate. You know what I mean? Tapping into that and pulling it out and reinvesting it, because the rates are so low. The interest rates are as low as it's ever been. And I think the only people that are not able to take advantage of that is the people that didn't get into the real estate market at some point. So that's why it's so important for you to just get in. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as you're in and close to the GTA market, anywhere in the suburbs, anywhere, even like right now, even parts of Ontario is having crazy
Yeah,
appreciations.
like the problem is people don't invest because they can't invest in Toronto. So they just don't invest at all. And I find that absolutely crazy. How long are you going to wait? Like, I always look at it this way. Let's say on average, I mean, some areas even went up higher, like Durham region went up 30%. But let's say on average it's going up 5 to 10% every year. And one year we have a dip, but then it goes back up. You're always going to be in the positives no matter what, because real estate is a long game. It's not a rich get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich for sure.
Yeah, it's
So
always going up and down in an upwards way. So as long as you're not flipping or speculating, then you're always gonna win, right? And if you are gonna flip or speculate and try to play the short game, then you gotta really do your research and have like really know what's going on, know the trends. You gotta know the timing. So there's money to be made in that type of investing too. But with most of our clients and ourselves, we're mostly into the long term game, buy, hold, refinance, repeat that same cycle, and I think that's where you make the massive appreciation, massive wealth.
yeah, and a lot of money is coming out of people's homes. Again, this is another reason why you need to invest in properties, because unfortunately the wealth gap in Canada, especially in Toronto, is getting bigger and bigger. So if you don't get in sooner than later, like you're just going to have to leave the greater Toronto area. You're not going to be able to buy a property here. So I think people need to make themselves a little uncomfortable. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I don't want to be house poor. I don't want to not have vacations. I don't want to have," and that's just that's not the right mindset, because you're really just trying to gain short term gain and not look at long term gain. Make yourself uncomfortable for a couple of years, and after that, like now you have appreciation. You could sell your property, move into another one. I know we want to talk about buy and hold, but a lot of people, let's say you're not investing in property, you're just buying a property to live in. You don't have to be house poor forever. People forget that your income goes up as well. Like you're not going to just stay in the same place for the rest of your life.
And like it's not easy to buy a house in Toronto. Let's, like, obviously, like, we're not trying to make this sound like it's something you just walk into a bank and you just like fill out an application. Like, it's becoming harder and harder to buy a house in Toronto, even Ontario. And it's not like if you just, like, don't drink Starbucks for a couple of months, or don't eat out for a couple of months, and you're gonna own a home. No, it's not that easy. Like, you have to save, you have to have discipline, and you have to also be solution focused. Like, you have to focus on, how can I get into the market? What can I do? Like, how can I possibly be able to find a way to come up with my down payment, find a way to uh, partner with someone, find a way to find a pre-construction where I can buy it with super low down payments. There's always a way. You just need to find it. You just need to look for it. You gotta maybe take a little bit of a risk, but ultimately, like, you're not gonna become an owner if you don't drink Starbucks for a month. Like,
No, absolutely not. Like, I know financial gurus are gonna hate this comment that I'm about to make, but I think owning property is so important that I'm even willing to take out debt to buy real estate, because even if you take 50, $60,000 debt, even at a 10% interest, but you're putting it into a property, let's say at 700,000, you're making appreciation on 700,000. So technically you're making a lot more money, and you could pay that 60,000 off once you refinance that property, right? So you're not stuck with that 60,000 debt forever. People, this is actually, you were saying, where is all this wealth coming from? People are refinancing their properties because they got into the property game early on, so now they had built all this equity, so they're taking this money out tax free. And that's what you can do too. If you borrow 60,000 even at a higher interest, but you're buying a property,
well, that's where the
after
leverage comes in, right?
that's
Like,
where
you're
leverage
borrowing,
comes in. Yeah.
like, for example, you're borrowing 100,000 at 5% interest rate, but you're able to buy a $500,000 property with that. So you're actually making money on $500,000. The bank is lending you the other 400,000. So you're able to leverage and only pay interest on 100,000, and that's where finding out solutions on what to do, how to get into the market. There's a lot of money being printed. You just gotta find a
Yeah.
way to get your hands on it.
Yeah, I mean, inflation, I think, across the board in Canada and United States is up the roof. And real estate is one of the best ways to protect your money from inflation. Keeping your money in the bank is a huge mistake. And like you said, leverage is huge. So if you have 100,000 and you go into a bank to invest in stocks, and you tell the stockbroker, I'm willing to put 15% and you guys fund the rest, they're going to laugh at you. But real estate is one of the few that you could actually do that. You can go into a bank and say, I'll put 15% down and you guys fund the rest. It's the ultimate other people's money
Yeah.
concept.
And it's continuing to show, the appreciation, the healthy growth. In some cases in Toronto, it's a little bit unhealthy growth, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I think that the reason for that is very short supplies. Like, until on the government, they can do whatever they want, but until they come up with a solution with, uh, like, kind of trying to come up with more supplies, then the growth is not gonna stop. Like, we need 100,000 new homes every year.
But
That's
we're
the
at 70,000.
We're at
So
30,000, so we're short 70,000. So we're only able to
yeah.
supply 30,000 properties a year, and we're short 70,000 homes
I
every
think it's
year.
the other way around.
No,
actually.
I remember I read a report. We're only able to supply 30,000. We're going to be short 70,000 homes a year. So basically, like, what that's telling us is there's a much higher demand than supply.
Yeah. And it's only going to get worse.
And that's
Like,
without the immigrants and
yeah.
international students coming in.
Yeah, yeah. It, like, with the immigration, it's going to get even worse. Like, a lot of people are going to be bringing their money to Canada. They're going to need to invest it. And I don't want to say real estate is recession proof, but let's say in the worst case scenario, your property does, we have a correction or some kind of crash or recession, whatever you want to call it. At that point, we're just going to have more renters. So rent is going to go up. So even if you do have a mortgage, your renters are going to pay for it anyways. And I've talked so much about this in my videos. There is more than just one way of making money on your property. You don't have to rely on just rent. So this is a huge topic. I mean, that, like, we'll be going down a rabbit hole forever, but I mean, we've invested in pre-construction and in rental property, and it's been
Yeah, they
been good
both
for
go
us.
up in price and appreciation, and then there's a lot of people that want a cash flow, um, and in Toronto, it's getting harder and harder to find cash flow properties. Maybe in parts of Ontario, you can still find it, or specific type of properties in Toronto, or simply doing Airbnb. But in Toronto, it's really the equity play, right? A lot of people, if they want cash flow, like, you would have to go outside of Ontario. Maybe Calgary is a huge city right now where people are seeing amazing cash flows, but also
Well, they
finding the
have tax
balance where
benefits there too. Yeah.
where yeah, aside from that, they're finding like kind of the balance of cash flow and healthy appreciation of about 4 or 5% a year. So they're kind of getting best of both worlds. Whereas in Toronto, you might be negative cash flow every month, a few $100s, but you make massive appreciations that you're not gonna get anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. What is like in your opinion, like I know where I've made some mistakes, like where do you feel like you've made some mistakes? Like what would you do different like now that you know what you know? What is one thing?
Selling
Yeah,
my properties,
that's
like
mine too. Like I would not sell
uh,
anything. Nothing.
yeah, if I knew about the this whole concept of refinancing and repeating the same thing, when I sold my property, I got like $250,000 profit, where I could have refinanced and got like
Yeah.
150, and that's all I needed. Like
And also if I knew about Airbnb, I think I would have done things a lot differently too.
Airbnb is huge. I think
Huge.
it's a great way to take advantage of the huge appreciations, those mega appreciations in Toronto, while still being positive cash flow. I think it's one of the only ways you can be positive cash flow in Toronto, with the prices being so high. The rents are high, but not high enough to cover the mortgages. But with Airbnb, you can actually be profitable. It is a little bit more active investing, whereas like renting it out is more passive. It does require some of your time, some of your effort. But at the end of the day, you're making very good income every month.
And if you're really busy, like I have a couple of clients who are very, very busy all the time. They don't have time to manage an Airbnb. You just hire, there's a lot of companies that you could hire, property management companies that focus specifically on Airbnb that you could hire and they'll just handle everything for you. You won't even have to hear anything.
Yeah, you pay 10 to 20% of your profits, and you don't need to. Then it becomes passive income.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the I don't know, most popular thing I hear from people who are afraid to get into the housing market is, oh, I think the market is just too crazy. I'm just going to wait till prices go down. I
Right.
think what I'm hearing is I'm afraid and I don't want to get into the
It's
market.
just
I'm
so hard to
fearful.
time
So
the
how would
market.
you like what would you say to
It's really hard for you to time the market, right? Like you can never time it. You don't know when it's gonna crash, when it's gonna go back up. So you're always like kind of in that phase, waiting stage. You're always waiting in the sidelines. You're watching all these people, all your friends, family, kind of thrive through the real estate market just because they took action. And you're always like regretting, oh, I wish I did it this time, I wish I did it that time. But at some point you just got to do it, and not look back,
yeah.
because and you got to play the long game. If you play the long game, it doesn't matter what happens in the next few months. You know what I mean? You're concerned about how much time you spend in the market, not it's like time in the market, not timing the market.
Yeah. I find like overly analytical people, like the very, very smart people, are usually ones that overanalyze things. Not all of them, right? But like people that are just really, there is such a thing as knowing too much, and overly analytical people, they know too much and they don't take the same risks. Whereas like somebody who doesn't know that much or has just gotten into the market, they just make these big risks. They don't have anything to lose. And honestly, I see a lot of them doing really well. They're like on their fifth, sixth property because they don't look at risk like that, right?
Right. Well, with real estate, like it's in Toronto, honestly, like I always tell our clients, you can blindfold someone, just put out this huge map and just tell them to like pick anywhere in the greater Toronto area and just go buy the first house you see on the market, and you'll still make money.
Yeah.
Like you can be the dumbest investor and still make money. But actually like knowing what to do and doing some research, hiring the right team, working with the right people, investor focused realtors, mortgage brokers, lenders, accountants. You build a team like that around you, then
Yeah.
you make great returns. Not just good, but regardless, it's so hard to lose money in real estate in
It
Toronto.
is.
It's
It
just
is.
almost impossible.
And if you're afraid of payments, just rent it out.
Yeah.
Like there's, it's not so much coming out of your pocket.
Yeah, and if you want to buy your first property, and it's not going to be your dream home, like just get rid of that mindset. Unless you have like a trust fund, You have some kind of massive down payment to go buy whatever you want. Like your first home is not going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect.
No,
It's not
it's
going to be your dream home. Like unless you go to one of these cities in North America where homes are average prices like 150, 200,000, like your first home is never going to be your dream
it's
home.
just a stepping stone.
Yeah, and within a few years, if you be patient, you can definitely get into close to your dream home, or it could be the one house before your dream home. But you have to take the first step. You gotta take action. You gotta take a little bit of a risk. You know,
Be decisive, not fearful. On the other side of fear, it's all your dreams. I mean, as cliche as that sounds, like really that is what you need to focus on. But being decisive is one of the biggest things because a lot of people, they're procrastinating. Their lack of decision making costs them hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the ability to create financial wealth and a retirement plan for you and your family to live a very fruitful life.
honestly, I'll tell you guys one thing. I've never had anybody come to us over the years and say like, "Why did you push me to buy this house?" or "Why did you push me to make this investment?" I've had some people come and say, "I wish you pushed me harder. I wish you pushed me more. I wish you made me buy that, or I wish you made me like."
I've kicked myself in the ass a couple of times, because I didn't make moves that I feel I should have very early
Sure.
on. And now I'm a lot I take bigger risks. I'm less scared because I just know the benefits. Like, what are the benefits of real estate? Tax advantage, leverage, financial freedom. What else is
There's
there?
lots of it.
Rental income.
Yeah, it's just it's a fast way to build wealth. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna get wealthy or have financial freedom, uh, through just trading your time and working. Like you have to find a way to create income while you're sleeping.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that said, I think we're gonna wrap it up today. Thank you so much for joining our another episode out of our podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and
And follow us on social media. Diana Shal is my personal page. Toronto Platinum Realty Team is our team page. We put a lot of information out, a lot of videos. And if anybody wanted information, you guys can always reach out to us. We're happy to help. And we hope that you got something out of this. And if you feel like you did and you feel somebody could benefit from this, please share the video and like it. It'll really help us grow. It'll help the algorithm or whatever that whole thing is. So
yeah. All right. Thank you so
awesome.
much, everyone.
Thank you.